Peter Campbell here to introduce you to the MACD Advanced Indicator. This is a powerful enhancement to the MACD tool set. Basically, what I'm going to show you here is a simple standard MACD. This is standard MACD that comes on pretty much any workstation, and the thing that most people watch. I guess MACD is probably the most popular indicator. I'm actually not exactly sure why, because I don't think it gives you very good signals unless you use it only as a divergence tool. But that's why I'm going to spend some time on this, because the MACD Advanced tool gives you the ability to generate divergences at a much higher degree and also observe those divergences at a much higher degree. So essentially what I'm showing you here is the MACD set to be exactly the same as the standard indicator. So what I had just shown you, what you were seeing when I first brought up the screen, was the gapless version. Now you're seeing that this MACD at 1226.9, which is the standard settings, calculates exactly like the 1226.9 from standard MACD. We do have the ability to turn gapless mode on, and there's two different gapless modes. There's not two different gapless modes. There's two different types of gapless calculations. There's gapless that removes every gap everywhere, and there's gapless that removes them only across the sessions. The standard is that we only remove the missing data there, but with MACD it's actually handy to remove data imperfections inside of the data stream. And so that's what we're doing here. And so what I want you to see is the smoothness of this indicator when that is done. So there's some interpolation going on. It's volume based for the missing data. Once it's removed, figuring out what to do. But what is happening here is that essentially we have a much smoother, easier to read MACD, and we are able to just look at a prettier looking signal that doesn't generate quite as many false triggers. Although I wouldn't be looking for MACD as an entry tool. I'd be looking at it as a divergence tool. And basically, when you look at this, I want you to notice something else, that the histogram here is a lot bigger than the histogram on the standard MACD. And that is a setting, because if you want to do histogram analysis with this tool, you can actually create a multiple for the histogram in case you're in a chop situation, like for example over here where the market isn't trending very hard and you want to be able to see what is going on. You can do that. Also, with this indicator you have the ability to plot only the histogram, or plot only the MACD, as you wish. So we can turn the histogram off over here. And if you only plot the MACD, you are also able to use color. So one of the things I do find very handy with MACD is actually using the color. And so here, you're getting a standard thing: MACD going down equals red, MACD going up equals green. But what I do like is using the highlight transitions function, because what that does is gives you the ability to get these little wave count triggers in there. And one of the things I like to look for, and it's easy to miss when you're looking at something like this, is I like to look for, we have essentially when we cross, I call that a reset. And then I look for a yellow and a yellow. And the second yellow is usually a pretty good signal. So here's another example where essentially I'll average this together and say this is one yellow and two yellows, and then you do get some sort of a good signal. Here's a reset. We get one yellow, two yellows, you get a pretty good signal. Now, one of the other differences between this MACD and our brother down here is the ability for the MACD to have any moving average, and also to have post-smoothing and pre-smoothing. So you can actually pre-smooth your signal line if you're getting too jumpy of a signal. So that would pre-smooth your price line. So in other words, what MACD does is it gets the prices. Now, if the prices are too jumpy, it might be worth it to smooth them a little bit so you get a smoother signal before you calculate MACD, and that's what the fast smoothing amount is, and the slow smoothing amount is the pre-calculated smoothing applied to the slow data stream before MACD is calculated. The signal post-smoothing is what we would do with the result of the MACD calculation after it's calculated and before the histogram is calculated. So if I apply this, I just want to show you essentially what happens. We're able to essentially create a different MACD. Okay, so here's our MACD. Now you have the ability to use any kind of moving average that we support. So that again goes from simple to Hull to triangular to adaptive. There's pretty much any moving average that's in our library will be supported. So I'm going to use a simple versus exponential, and then I'm going to use a weighted calculation for the MACD result. And essentially, this is just an example. I'm not suggesting that this is going to give you the best results or the worst results. It's just a matter that if you wanted to calculate MACD totally based on simple analysis, you have the ability to do that. If you want to not use color, we can not use color, and then we get the standard MACD settings, and you can change the colors over here in your settings for the indicator on the regular panel, and this is for multi-charts or TradeStation. Here I have a MACD with signal post-smoothing. Now I wanted to show you this way so that you could see the difference, that essentially it's really smoothing out the MACD. It's sort of adding a little 1 bar delay, but we can go deal with that by reducing the amount of smoothing. And we're not, in this case, probably adding really any delay, but we are creating a significantly less, bumpy MACD. And there's other ways, to resolve this correlation. So, for example, we could go down and take this down to a 10 and increase our post-smoothing to 4. And in a lot of cases, we're not getting any delay. So my goal here isn't to show you that MACD is perfect and going to give you all the perfect signals. It's that you can play with this and engineer MACD that can achieve potentially more of your objectives or be easier to read. And then this is the last MACD that I want to show you, which is essentially the way that I like to view this, where I'm using a weighted moving average MACD with gapless. I'm not showing you any custom colors or anything like that. I will do that quickly here. And I also do like to plot the histogram on a separate panel. I can't type. But essentially here, we get nice clean signals. I would normally turn off the MACD histogram and put that onto another panel. So I could do an analysis on it. But that's MACD, and I will be back soon with another indicator.